All right, good morning, everyone. I will be explaining the how we truncated the entire saved meeting chat from Javante's Thursday session. So currently, this is the entire thing. So it's a lot of lines, and I'll be explaining how we truncated to this, which was just saving all the pitches with the links for whatever services or products that were being provided. Now that I'm looking at the file, it's not really nicely formatted. That being said, it did truncate to approximately 80 lines. This was approximately 2,000 lines. So we wanted to do it with code because code makes things much easier. In retrospect, had I done it by hand, I would have probably been finished earlier. That being said, now I can use the code, the algorithm to do this for anybody who has a chat and who has a pitch. So if we do this often, so if we were to do this, uh, let's say we did this 10 times, whatever it is, we'll actually be saving more time with code than without code. That being said, the algorithm would have to be fixed because there are some issues with it. It's not perfect. And I will explain how this worked and very broad because I'm assuming that most of the people watching are not technical based or programmers. So the first thing that we have to do when we code is we have to figure out what we want to do. So the intention for this was to just have everybody who pitched an idea with a URL will be presented into a separate file. And so the first thing that we had to do was to figure out all the people that pitched. So that was the first thing. And I will show the code and I'll explain it. I won't really get too deep into it. So here what this did was just that it saved all the text lines, so all 2000 lines. And then what we had to do was split by this so that we can have all the unique comments. So here we have Netta at 928 that says I love Javante. So we would split this into one thing and we'll split this into a separate thing. So Coach Mika James' comment will be a separate comment. So that was the first thing we had to do. So I don't remember exactly how many unique comments there were. There were quite a lot. So we did that here. So all the unique comments became, sorry for the variable names. I was just doing this originally for myself. So it might be a little more difficult to understand. This is called a regex. So this is I don't know if you guys can see this properly. So essentially this finds the pattern of all the time. So we separated by time. So every time there was a time like this, 928 or whatever time it was, 927, it just find the pattern and it split and it considered that every time it saw that as a new comment, as a new unique comment. So that was the first thing we did. So afterwards, what we had to do was figure out, so now that we have all the unique comments, we have to figure out which ones actually have a link, because that was our intention, to only have the ones with a link. So then we did this here. So what this does here is that it checks every line, after every unique comment, and it checks if it has a HTTPS. It's anything there starts the HTTPS. So that's what that does. It checks if it contains HTTPS. Is this colon //. So if it does do that, then what we also want to do is that we want to get the name of the person, because we only wanted one pitch per person, because we didn't want to have too many copies, because some people, including myself, copied their pitches multiple times throughout the chat. So we wanted to only include one copy of the pitch. So here what we do here is that we created it's called an array list that keeps track of the names. So our goal here is that if the array list contains your name, so if it checks to see that Kepler's name is put there already, then it would not allow us to add like my pitch again. So it'll only do it the pitch once. So that's what this aspect of the code does. And then this last aspect, what it simply did was just it would add all the unique pitches into one file, which it did here. So it printed out the final answer, which is supposed to be unique, all the unique pitches, so one pitch per person. And this was just to get the name of the people. So like here, for instance, what the algorithm did is that it would just figure out, it would use this as the name of the person. So not actually this, which we could edit. It would consider anything between the number 4 to the colon as a name. So that's an imperfect algorithm. It was just to make it as fast as possible. It did end up taking me like 90 minutes to come up with this. It's only 76 lines of code because I struggle with this bad boy here. It took me a good 30 minutes of YouTube tutorial watching and a lot of testing to get this right. And that's really it. Thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful.